everyone, and welcome back to the Middle and High School Chorus Professional Learning Community on the Georgia Department of Education platform. This platform was created for educators to collect, collaborate, and support one another. Be sure to set up your notifications to your liking and check back to engage in discussion as often as you wish. Please share this platform with your colleagues so that we may continue to grow and share beneficial information specific to middle and high school choral education. The more colleagues active yields more opportunities for us to share and grow from one another. I'm Brandy Dent, and I will be your virtual PLC lead for middle and high school chorus. The webinar today's topic will be about teaching students to match pitch, teaching rhythm, as well as tips for field trip planning. In this webinar, you're going to get some amazing best practices from some choral educators all over Georgia. Thanks to Joy Dumas at Perry High School, Katie Holloway for Academy for Classical Education, Justin Miller at Lamar County High School Band and Chorus, Samuel Potts, Rona Robbins High School, Cynthia Richmond, Crisp County Middle School, happy retirement to you, and Misty Wilcox at Jones County High. We hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Justin Miller, and I'm the Band and Choral Programs Director at Lamar County High School. I've been asked by a fellow colleague to answer a few questions about some different teaching methods that I use in my programs.
Hi, I'm Joy Dumas. I am the choir director at Perry High School, and I have about 22 years experience teaching chorus at this point in my life.
Hello, my name is Samuel Potts, and I'm the chorus director at Warner Robins High School in Warner Robins, Georgia.
Hi, my name is Catherine Holloway, and I work for Georgia Academy for the Blind, state schools, and I teach K through 12.
Cynthia Richmond, middle school chorus.
Field trip strategies are all about the details. When I teach bell to bell. You want those students to be busy. You want them to have activities throughout the trip. So you're going to have to plan from when they wake up all the way to when they go to bed. Dead time, I call that trouble time, especially when you're taking teenagers on trips. Can't help it. It's just their personality. It's just how they're managed. When you plan a trip, you need to communicate. You need to ask for help from everybody. You need to communicate to the parents, ask them for anything, whether it's I need snacks for the bus or, but communication. Details matter, especially with paperwork. So there you go.
Cynthia Richmond, middle school chorus. A lot of my field trips are used as incentives for the students. If they can achieve certain goals, then they are welcome to come along on the field trips. It's kind of a reward type of deal. Because of where I'm located, there are not a lot of places to go for field trips, but if we do, as I said, if we do field trips, they're required to achieve certain goals to be able to be included in the field trip.
My top tips for field trips. Number one, always work with a travel agent who is used to doing student travel, specifically performance driven student travel, so that they will be familiar with what your kids need. Two, in the cost of the trip, I include every breakfast, every lunch, and every dinner. Every meal that they will need is included in the cost of their trip. That way, when they do not budget well, they will still be able to eat 3 meals a day. It won't get to the last day and they have no money left, for lunch or whatever it is. They don't budget well, and so that just gives me peace of mind. The third thing is that 2020 taught me when I had group travel canceled at the last minute. From here on out, the optional travel insurance that we used to offer is now going to be required travel insurance, so that if they have to pull out of the trip for any reason, or if the trip is canceled for any reason, they'll get most, if not all, of their money back. That used to be something that the kids could buy or not, but when we shut down in 2020, the only kids who got most of their money back were the ones that had bought the insurance. So now it's just a part of the cost of the trip. The meals and the insurance together probably add another $100 to the trip. If you're talking about a 3 or 4 day trip, away somewhere big. But in my opinion, it's worth it for the peace of mind. I've also been known to hire a local security agency to have a security guard come and sit in the hallway and watch my kids' rooms to make sure nobody was out and about when they shouldn't be. And that, again, just peace of mind for me. Some years I can afford that, some years I can't. If I can't afford that, then I put tape across their door and hope for the best. Again, get up before they do in the morning. So those are my top tips.
The last topic I would like to discuss is how I go about planning field trips. The first thing I always try to think about is what exactly I would like for my students to get out of the trip. Whether it's us going to perform or whether we're going to watch a performance or whether it's just an educational trip, the overall objective of mine is what exactly do I want my students to experience. And so after I've established those goals and tied into some different standards and educational things, I always like to get support and approval from administration. So whether it's my principal or assistant principal, just their support and knowing me telling them that, hey, I want to take these students on this trip on this day. And they say, hey, I think that's a great idea. Let me know what I could do to help. And so just having that support pushes me to know that I'm headed in the right direction. I then began to research online. I also tend to research on the different websites and also through different social media platforms about the event that I want to take the students to. And so sometimes directors will say, hey, I attended this event or this festival, and they say, this is what my students enjoyed, or this is what we experienced. And so I just want to give you caution about this. And so just some different things, some different opinions and some different experiences will help me to also be informed when making my decision. I also love this aspect. I try to always talk to a few student leaders about the trip that I want to take the students on. And I'll say, hey, so I'm thinking about taking you guys to so-and-so. What do you think? And so sometimes they'll give me different opinions, and they'll say, give me different things that they think about that I won't even think about. And so, and I think that's very good, because sometimes I won't know that there's a sporting event on a certain day, or I won't know that so-and-so has went and they didn't have a great experience. And so I think it's important that I talk to the students, not all of them, but those few student leaders that can give you honest feedback and say, hey, I think that's a good thing, or hey, I'm not sure about that. And so, and then it's easier when I present it to the students, because then I have those student leaders in my corner saying, hey, yeah, I think this would be a great trip, y'all. Let's get aboard. And so those are just some different things that I like to do. I love to give a detailed itinerary. And so I learned at a GMEA conference one year that students will ask you less questions if you give them more information. And so I always make it a part of mine to tell them, hey, at this time, you're going to use the restroom. At this time, we're going to get off the bus. At this time, we're going to sing. At this time, we're going to eat lunch. And at this time, we will return back. And so that eliminates a lot of questions that students have, just providing them with a basic itinerary of the trip and different expectations. And so those are just a few things that I like to do and ways I like to approach planning a field trip.
Field trips in our choral music industry just can't be avoided. I like to make lists. I like to make a list of all the issues or items that I might need, everything that I might encounter as planning a field trip. Of course, your destination is crucial, and the date and time, and if it conflicts with anything, is very important. Also, it has to be content related. I know we'd like to take our children a lot of places just for fun, but I always make sure it's either to a competition or a performance of some sort, so that the student experience is connected to their choral learning. I also like to have my field trip forms done early, using a template provided by the district so that it's an acceptable format should something happen, God forbid, should something happen that we need to deal with on the trip or after. And of course, I make sure that all my students have their parents fill them out and sign them in pen. blue or black ink. That's a thing. Also, sometimes I will filter out a few students if there's any behavioral issues, but not often. I try to keep all those behavioral issues in-house. And sometimes a field trip can encourage a child to be more dedicated to the choral program. Field trips are great. There's also some character education that you can teach within your classroom, so that when you do take your kids on a field trip, they can be the example for the type of behavior that we want from all of our students when they're taking a trip on an educational endeavor. I hope you enjoy all of your field trips.
Hello, it's Sam again, and in this video I will be talking about a strategy that I use on field trips that has really helped me in managing my own mental sanity. Because when we're on field trips, there's a million things to do. You have to make sure kids don't get lost. You have to, make sure all the everything's paid for, and then you have to make sure whatever your event you're going to, or the reason you're on the field trip, all of that's working out as well. And then one of the main things that always, drives me crazy on field trips is when students come up to me asking me questions that I've answered a million times before, or that I've sent out in emails or on Remind or put in Google Classroom. I always get a million questions, and that always drives me crazy. So something I've done is I've created a tiered system to where students are at the bottom of the tier, at the pyramid, and then I'm at the top. And so if a student has a question at the very bottom, rather than coming straight to me, they'll ask their section leader first. So all the tenors, will ask the tenor section leader first. And if the tenor section leader isn't able to answer it, then the student will ask one of the chaperones. And if the chaperone isn't able to answer the question, then it'll come to me. So this typically takes care of many of the random small little questions I get on field trips while I'm having to, so I can worry about the more important things rather than, what time are we going to eat tonight or something like that. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much.
This video could not have been made possible without the help of choral educators like you and mine. I want to give a special thanks to Joy Dumas, Catherine Holloway, Justin Miller, Samuel Potts, Cynthia Richmond, Misty Wilcox, and all of the choral educators for all of your input. We really appreciate you.